of Kathleen Stock at Sussex University show that you can stand up to cancel culture if you're brave enough?
Very interesting question. Did everyone hear that? Yeah, everyone heard that. Okay, so now, Kathleen Stock, this is it. So she's an academic philosopher at Sussex University. You'll have probably read about her this week. There was an absolute furore. She's written a book called Material Girls. She's a gender-critical feminist. She believes that the rights of women is intricately tied up with the acknowledgement of the biological reality of sexually dimorphic species. And the protest... Now, of course, I'm for protest, peaceful protest, whatever. But the protests among students at Sussex University have tipped over into harassment. There've been people dressed up in sort of faux paramilitary outfits, setting off flares, putting up posters everywhere demanding that the university fire Kathleen Stock. Very threatening, very intimidating. The police have now got involved. Kathleen Stock was supposed to appear today at the Battle of Ideas and had to pull out because of the intensity of the threats. So it's a very unpleasant story, and it does. And your question specifically is, does it show that if you stand up to them, they can be defeated? I will say the Vice-Chancellor of Sussex University have put out a very strong statement saying that this is absolutely not going to be tolerated. We believe in academic freedom at the university, and we're not going to have people demand that academics shut up. And I think he should be congratulated for that, because I think so many institutions, they just capitulate immediately, don't they? And that actually, I think, is very heartening. Nick, do you have any thoughts on this particular story?
Yeah, I do. Well, I read this. There was this thing going around the campus attacking, wasn't there? And immediately they said on this wretched island, which already made me suspicious, because you were talking about Britain. They called it a colonial S-hole. It's like you're at Sussex University. You're having one of the easiest lives in history. Let's face it, right? You get up at 12 p.m. talk about post-colonial literature. It's a very easy life. Not as easy as comedian. That's early for me, 12. But you know what I mean? It's a very as soon as they said wretched island, that got me suspicious. And then they also just said Kathleen Stock is a bigot. Just this blank statement. And I've been called a bigot online. In that case, they were right, but it was a fluke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, they're bound to get it right occasionally, but the point is, I didn't trust the tone of that at all. It was incredibly aggressive, incredibly nasty, and you look at what she's actually done, and it's just incredibly reasonable. So yeah, it's great that they finally, like Fraser said, stood up.
It is great.
For once.
And if you read, you can see the statement from the activist group that attacked her online. I mean, the first thing to say about it is barely literate.
Right.
These people can't write. Right, so I think they just don't read books, and they don't have this conception of sort of diversity of opinion and different ideas. But also, it was threatening and intimidating. And I'm one who has been mobbed by the Be Kind lot online, and the people who sort of you've been mobbed as well by the people who stand up for compassion and love. And it's it's weird. Like, the most compassionate in society can be really vicious.
They show up in masks and try and get people cancelled in a very loving way.
Yeah, I don't Mother Teresa never did that, did she? No.
And there's a weird entitlement and anger about it all, wasn't there? You're at Sussex University, you know what I mean?
It's pretty plush.
Right, you're paying 10 grand a year. That was a big part, wasn't it? Like, we're paying 10 grand a year, so we expect to just hear things we like told back to us.
Exactly.
What's the point of that? Why are you paying all that money just to hear things? Just don't go. It's a pointless degree anyway, let's be real. And isn't it probably gender studies or something?
Gender studies.
Sorry to anyone here with a gender studies degree. Probably about half the audience, sorry. But you know what I mean?
I know exactly
Why
what you
even
mean.
go and spend all that money and get annoyed that you're hearing ideas you don't want? And then the university has to listen to them because they need the money.
Well, let's see if Lewis disagrees with this. I suspect he might.
I think they're college kids, and college kids are idiots.
That's why they're at college, right?
That's why they're at college,
mind,
and they want to. I know somebody who tried to get the custodian in the school fired. The guy who was like cleaning out the kitchen and the things like that.
Why?
Fired.
Was he cleaning it in a particularly racist way?
I'll have to ask my son what the story was.
So what? But you just think this is the natural sort of kind of phase that young people go through. They want to be activists. They want to be meaningful.
They want to remember the Battle of Sussex when we got that old lady fired.
Yeah, exactly.
But the other thing is, this is the thing about these shows, Andrew. This is a temporary thing. This is like the McCarthy era, where everybody got fired.
Yeah.
Supposedly our people got fired. And then 10 years later, they're winning Academy Awards and they're being feted because they got fired because they insisted on not.